Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4 at Old Trafford. Probably one of the most exciting end-to-end games of the season so far, in my personal opinion. Like a lot of things, a lot of thrills, a lot of moments, a lot of brilliant moments, a lot of what is going to happen next. To be fair, at like 2-2, I kind of knew that this game was going to go to the wire. This game was going there. It was a game that you knew that goals were going to be involved. Goals were going to be involved, no doubt. And in my opinion, they say Manchester United are like the king of comebacks. But even when they came back and when they were leading Bournemouth, I just knew it. I've seen games like this before, a plethora of times. Jonas, I've seen it with Real Madrid. I've seen it with when Liverpool came back um, at Champions League final against AC Milan. We've seen games like this. It's just one of those games where you catch the feeling. You have that feeling that, listen, there are more goals. Bournemouth isn't just going to go out like that. And the game started with Amad Diallo putting Manchester United in the lead at 13 minutes. Then Antoine Semenyo equalized for Bournemouth in the 40th minute. In the 45th minute, Casemiro scored to put Man U ahead 2-1, and they went into halftime. In second half, Evanilson scored in the 46th minute to tie the game at 2-2. Then Bruno Fernandes scored in the 77th minute, and Cunha scored in the 79th minute. Then Matheus Tavernier scored. Actually, my bad. When Evanilson scored to tie the game 2-2, Evanilson, who scored the goal to tie it 2-2, then Tavernier scored a wonderful free kick in the 52nd minute, which put Bournemouth up 3-2. And at that moment, to be fair, the way Bournemouth were playing, I actually thought they had won the game. I thought that, listen, Manchester United wasn't going to come back in this game. That was what I really thought. Then Bruno Fernandes scored in the 77 minutes. He scored an incredible free kick. Two free kicks in one game from both teams. It already tells you how incredible the game was. Then Bruno Fernandes scored in the 77th minute, and then 2 minutes later, Matheus Cunha scored, which was they were now leading uh, Bournemouth. They were now leading Bournemouth 4-3. And then in the 84th minute, Eli Junior Eli Junior Kroupi scored in the 84th minute to now tie the game 4-4. And then I think they gave 4 minutes extra time during the game. And funny enough, Bournemouth almost scored another goal. So it was a very, very interesting game. Manchester United fielded with the formation of 3-4-2-1. Lemens in goal, Lenny Euro, um, Lenny Euro, Haven, and Luke Shaw as a back three. Then Amad Diallo as a fullback, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes um, in midfield. Then Dalot on the other side. Then they had Umbremo, Mount, and Cunha as as the lining the forwards, right? So it was a formation of 4-2-3-1. With Bournemouth, they fielded a formation of 4-2-3-1 with Petrovic in goal, a back four of Truffet, Sensei, Diakate, and Smith, and two DMs kind of in Adams, who went out early in the game because of an injury. Tavernier. Then in front of them was on the wings, Semenyo, uh, in midfield, Clivet and Jimenez on the other side of the wing. Then their main striker was Evanilson, who actually came out later on in the game. So yeah, it was, when you look at both teams, you can't say that Manchester United are like, way ahead of Bournemouth when it comes to players. They actually are like, when it comes to, how should I put it, when it comes to ability wise, they're kind of even. You can say that in some areas, Manchester United actually have the upper hand when it comes to players compared to Bournemouth, and vice versa. You can, in certain areas, you can also say that Bournemouth have better players than Manchester United. So this type of game was going to definitely be a very difficult game for both teams. Um, me, I don't like Manchester United like that. So me, I wanted them to lose the game, but unfortunately, they didn't lose. They left with 1 point, and I know that a plethora of Manchester United fans will not be happy about that. But at the moment, they are sixth on the table, and Manchester United is sixth on the table, and Bournemouth is 13th on the table at the moment. So for Manchester, they're not doing. Obviously, their fans want them to be, at least amongst the top four, but they are just below the top four. I won't say they are doing too bad. I won't say they are doing too good. They can still end up making it into Europe. If not the Champions League, they can end up making it to the Europa competition. But me growing up in the Manchester United heydays, I think they should be doing better. I think they should be they should be ahead of where they are right now, because they are not playing any other competition. They play one game a week. They play one game a week. They're not in Europe. They're not playing any incredible competition whereby they are having two games in a week. These guys are playing one game a week, and they are kind of still struggling. And I wonder how things are going to be for them when players like Ahmad, players like Umbuemo, these guys go for the African Cup of Nations very soon. Very soon, because these guys, Umbuemo has been, if not the best player for Manchester United at the moment. Ahmad has also been a revelation for them. So what happens when these guys go? What happens when these guys go? So we're yet to see. I don't want to just jump out the window and say that they would start losing games and all that stuff, because who knows? These guys might go and they might actually, like, be better. Football is a very weird sport. What you think would happen a lot of times ends up not happening. So we would have to wait and see what happens when Umbuemo and Ahmad, who are Manchester United's, one of their best players right now in their squad, what happens when these guys go for the African Cup of Nations? Because if Manchester United are struggling like this, imagine what happens when these guys go. You look at Manchester United's forward, aside from Umbuemo and probably Ahmad and Bruno Fernandes, who is really putting in goals for them? Who is really scoring their goals apart from these three guys? No one really. No one really. So what happens when two out of these three guys go for like a month? What happens? Well, we go day here now. We go day here. We'll be here watching. Well, that's really it, man. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace.